What up, everybody? You're watching New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. We got a mailbag coming up where we answer questions from subscribers. And we didn't get to your question today. Another way that you can hit me up and we could chop it up about Big Blue is over on my Twitter, @MarshallGreen_. Give me a follow over there and send me a DM and we can talk some New York football. Giants, first question coming in from my guy Brody with a $2 super chat. He says, do you think we can get a linebacker like Fred Warner? Like Fred Warner, sure, we could get a linebacker like him, but I don't think we could get Fred Warner. Fred Warner, in my opinion, is, if not the best or the second best linebacker in the NFL. Rob, it was a joke, Rob. We got you. But look, the Niners aren't going to trade a guy like Fred Warner, but maybe the Giants go out in free agency and sign a guy like Levante David, who's not on that same level of Fred Warner, but I think he's the best off-ball linebacker in free agency. Tremaine Edmonds is a free agent as well. So is David Long. We've talked about trading for Devin White here on the channel. Tampa Bay, could they look to do a full rebuild and cash out their chips with Tom Brady retiring? Giants need a game-changing linebacker, Brody. I don't know if it'll be Fred Warner, but those are a couple of guys, David White and Lloyd, as other guys I think that could be on the market. Basil Champ with a $5 super chat. He says, Brandon Aiyuk was picked in the first round. Tee Higgins was picked in the second round and would be up for a contract extension before Aiyuk. Yep. So what would be better for a rebuilding team? I think for the Giants, the player that makes more sense here is Brandon Aiyuk. I do think Tee Higgins is a better player, but I also think he's going to be more expensive to sign to a long-term deal, and I think he's also going to be more expensive in the trade market. I believe a first-round pick could get it done with Brandon Aiyuk, whereas I think it will be a first and maybe a day two pick for Tee Higgins. And I think Tee Higgins is going to want more money on his next contract than Brandon Aiyuk. And to be honest with you, I think Tee Higgins is better, but I think Aiyuk kind of fits the Giants' offense a little bit better. He's better with the ball in his hands. He has more versatility as where he can line up on the football field. And I think he's a better route runner. I think Tee Higgins is better. I think he's more explosive. And I think he's more of just a force of nature and more dominant. But Aiyuk is a solid player as well. And I think you'd have to trade less for Aiyuk, and I think you'd have to pay less for him as well. So that's why I think he would be better for a rebuilding team. Basil, we appreciate the $5 super chat. The UFOs are here. Love that. He says, do you think the Giants could trade for Jalen Ramsey? Might be time for the Rams to tear it down. They don't have a first-round pick this year. I've heard some Jalen Ramsey trade rumors and stuff. The Atlanta Falcons have been linked to Jalen Ramsey. But look, if you're trading for Jalen Ramsey, I don't know if it gets it done without trading a first-round pick. And I don't really know if I want to trade pick number 25 for Jalen Ramsey, a guy that is still, in my opinion, the best corner in the NFL. Just at the size and what he's able to do, he is absolutely incredible. And when you look at what he did this past season, he was great. Only allowed 659 yards, a completion percentage of just 62%. He allowed 5 touchdowns, but he also had 4 interceptions and 18 pass breakups. No doubt, Jalen Ramsey is a talent. He's got Hall of Fame talent. I just don't know if I'm willing to take what it takes to trade for him. I mean, I don't think you're getting anything, you're not going to be able to get him for anything less than a first-round pick. The Rams don't have one, like you said, Mr. UFO, but I'm not willing to trade pick 25 for him. It'd be an all-in move, and I still think the Giants are a couple of pieces away from making an all-in trade like that, but the floor is yours, real ones. Let me know what you think. Should the Giants trade for Jalen Ramsey? He's been traded before. Could the Rams look to blow it up? There's rumors that the Jets are interested in trading for Matt Stafford, and how much longer is Aaron Donald going to play, and how long is McVay going to coach? I think that's a good question. It's interesting. I would say pass unless the value is lower than I thought. But what do you think? Type T for trade, type P for pass. Look, if the price is right, I'd pull the trigger. I just think the Rams would want a king ransom for Jalen Ramsey. AC, my man with a $10 super chat. What up, fam? He says, Marsh. What up, brother? Would it make sense to see if Kenny Golladay will restructure for at or below the $14 million dead cap hit and just keep him. You may want to prove that he's better than the last 2 years. That's a good point and an interesting thing to talk about. For me, though, AC, it just boils down to I don't know if Kenny Golladay, and I might be wrong. He might go to another team and play really well like Kadarius Toney has, but I just think his time is up in Big Blue. I think you get $6.7 million in cap space if you move on from him. You do have the $14 million dead cap hit like you talked about, but I just think it's best for both sides right now, AC, to move on from him. Use that money to go get a starter somewhere else, maybe another wide receiver. He was never the most athletic player in the world, and the injuries have kind of made him, less than his prime. It sucks it didn't work out. I thought it was going to be a huge move. I thought this was going to be the big body target that Daniel Jones needed, similar to Plaxico and Eli Manning, but it just didn't work out. And I just think it's best for both sides to move on. I think the media has had their fair share of darts thrown at Kenny. I think he wants a new spot to go play. I get the idea, and I think it makes a lot of sense, AC, but I think it's just time. We're past the point of no return. I think it may be time just to move on. Cal Walker says, Marsh, what would you rather do, trade our first rounder for Tee Higgins or use the first rounder on Jordan Addison? Woo! It's a good question. So let's talk about why and what happens. So if you draft Jordan Addison at 25, you are taking a risk that he will be elite. I think he will be good. I don't know if he'll ever be elite, but he's also cost controlled for the next 5 years. Whereas if you trade for Tee Higgins, I think you're getting a proven talent, but you're having to give up more than just a first-round pick, I believe, and you'd have to agree to a long-term deal with him. What would I rather do? If it only costs a first-round pick, I'd rather trade for Tee Higgins and draft Jordan Addison. But that's kind of cheating because I don't believe that it'll only cost that much. But if I can get that first-round draft pick and turn it into a for-sure thing in Tee Higgins, I'd do it. I'm a fan of Jordan Addison, though, so that's a great question, Cal Walker. If y'all want to let me know what y'all would do in the comment section, sound off down below. I do know this. When the Giants make a move on what they're doing in the first round or NFL free agency or on the trade market this offseason, we're going to break it down on the channel, youtube.com/NYGiantsTV. We put out videos every single day on the latest Giants news and rumors. If you're looking for Giants content every day this offseason, hit that big red button. We'll get to more questions in a second. But first, I was on Fanatics the other day, and I just saw some sick Giants hoodies out there. And I just ordered me a Giants hoodie, and you can get one today as they have some that are on sale at chatsports.com/Giants hoodies. That's chatsports.com/Giants hoodies. That link is in the comments and description of the show. They have more than just the two we showed you, and a lot of them are on sale. Hoodie season is the best season, and we're in it right now. Get your Giants hoodie today. chatsports.com/Giants hoodies. That's Giants hoodies. Rosario Guzzo says, I feel with two good drafts, Giants will win the Super Bowl. I think if you nail the next two drafts, yeah, I think you could be a top team in the NFC. You already made it to the divisional round of the playoffs, and that was with Evan Neal, your first-round pick this year, not playing well. Wan'Dale Robinson, your second-round pick, didn't play. Cordell Flott didn't really play. Dane Belton didn't really play. Joshua Zudu and Marcus McKeithen didn't play. Darian Beavers didn't play. You need these young guys to start playing, and if you can hit on the next two drafts, this team's going to be loaded with young talent. I trust Joe Shane in the draft. I think he's going to have a big draft this year, and I agree with you, Rosario. I think the Giants are two really good off seasons away from being a powerhouse in this league. Alex Roberts says, who is your favorite linebacker prospect, as I think it's our biggest need? I like Trenton Simpson out of Clemson. I just like what he brings to the table. It's a guy had 51 tackles last year, 9 missed tackles only, but he just is extremely explosive. He's all over the football field. I think he's the most athletic linebacker in this class. I also like Drew Sanders a lot out of Arkansas. He's a bigger linebacker at 6'5", 232, while Trenton Simpson is 6'3", 240. Both two really big guys. I like Simpson the best, but I'd be cool with Sanders as well. Jack Campbell out of Iowa. Anytime you play in the Big Ten for Iowa, you're going to be a damn good football player as well. I'd be cool with any of those three guys, Alex. Ahmad Noble with another $10 super chat. My man says, trade Saquons, Leonard Williams, and Kenny Golladay. We need to stockpile picks and young talent. We're not winning a Super Bowl next year. Got to think long term. We need to re-sign Dexter, DJ, and grab cheap proven guys. Trade Saquon Barkley. Not against it, but I wouldn't accept anything less than a second-round pick. Leonard Williams. He's still a damn good football player. Got a high cap hit of $32 million, so I get the idea there. Kenny Golladay, he can go. He's going to be cut. Nobody's going to want him. Then he says, we got to re-sign Dexter. That's true. Look, you got to pay Dexter Lawrence. You got to pay Xavier McKinney. You got to pay Andrew Thomas. You got some young bucks coming up that are going to be worth a lot of money, and you got to re-sign DJ and grab. I'm right there with you, Ahmad. I would like to hold on to Saquon. My heart says sign Saquon. My brain says let him go. It's a sticky situation with Saquon Barkley. Paying that running back that second contract is always risky, but I'd rather be wrong and we pay him than wrong and we don't pay him and he plays really well. Does that make sense? I hope it does. NFL rigged with the last question on this mailbag. Is that Roger Clown? Says, with Brady out, do you think the Giants could trade for Chris Godwin? Woo! We talked about Mike Evans potentially being a trade target with Tom Brady retiring. He's 30. Chris Godwin's only 26. I don't know if the Bucs would trade him, but if they did, hell yeah, I'd call about him because I think he's everything the Giants need on this football team. He's a young player at 26, about to be 27. He is an elite slot receiver. He's tough as nails. He makes the tough catches, and he's a guy that I think DJ could build some chemistry with. 104 catches last year and 13 starts, over 1,000 yards, only 3 touchdowns, only 9.8 yards per catch. But how many times did we see him just catch those screen passes from Tom Brady? I think he could open up his route tree a little bit more in New York, and I think he's the type of receiver that Daniel Jones could lean on at times. He's a damn good blocker as well. He's not afraid to take a hit. I would love to have Chris Godwin on the Giants. Am I willing to trade a first-round pick for him, though? I don't know. What do you think, Giants fans? Should the Giants trade for Chris Godwin? First-round pick, probably the asking price from Tampa Bay. They'd probably want 25 straight up. I don't know. I think he's a great player. 25 might be a little bit too rich for my blood, but what do you think? Should the Giants trade for Godwin? Y for yes and for no. Make sure you guys are following me over on Twitter. I appreciate everybody that watched today's video, and I appreciate you watching right now that made it to the end. Give me a follow on Twitter, and I'll follow you back at Marshall Green _.